Rubits, what's up? Little Big Robots back with another video. Dun, 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 dun. If you like robot stuff like this, mecha stuff, all that jazz, subscribe. 1 or 2 videos a week. I cover all sorts of stuff. Podcast, just have a lot of fun talking about toys. Today I'm talking about another JoyToy. I do the 1/25th scale ones. A lot of people, you might see JoyToy commonly reviewed are 1/18s. That means they're a little bit larger than this. This is 1/25th scale, a little smaller. 1/18s are a little bigger. But you still get tons of detail. I would bet that you get as much detail in the bots as you do in the 1/18s. There's not a huge difference. The figures are a little bit different. But there's some really, really nice pilot figures in here too. I wasn't going to get a new JoyToy anytime soon. The 1/25th lines have not really been moving a lot. They haven't been releasing a lot. I don't even know if this is a later one, like a brand new. I thought it was a redo, kind of like a new, they don't have a date. But it has this new design. I'll explain a little bit. So if anybody knows for sure out there, I don't really have much knowledge about JoyToy. I wish, when they're a Chinese company, it's hard to really get. I just wish companies would release a good history of their company, we started in this and then here's all the different lines, or an entire history of all the released toys, for example. That would be incredible. These are high quality mechs. Anyway, I wasn't going to really get one of these. I don't know if it was the newer version. I believe it is, or some kind of new version, but I liked how it saw it, and it was on sale for $60 on Prime Day, or whatever you call it. You can get these for even $50 I've seen, but generally about 60 to 75 for the 125. Some of them are, excuse me, a bit more. There's one that's commonly $100, but I got it for $70 before. They usually come together. Sometimes you do have to assemble them. Look at that! You get I never noticed you get an authentic JoyToy desiccant. Cause something about that makes me feel nice that they put their stamp right on the desiccant. Let me see if I've got a little thingy here. No, faithfuls. I need to buy some more of these. If you're a toy person, get you even an inexpensive set of all sorts of different, not the really skinny sharp ones. These little kind of grabbier ones. Here we go. Here we go. This. So is this somebody was saying in my comments that this is a redo of the God of War. I don't know that. Was complaining because their hands were not articulated, and these are not. These are assembled together. I'll compare it to some of my other ones here in a minute. That's not a big deal to me. Articulation is great and everything, but what's more important to me is a solid toy. And I don't really, if it's guaranteed to hold the gun better or something because it's kind of molded, that's fine. But you do with these you do pay for, the articulation is part of the fun. But I have so many now, I'm not going to worry about it. So you obviously get a ton of junk. I like how they just pop them in there. So we're going to look at the mech in just a second. This is not going in there. I'm going to look at that in just a minute. First, we'll take a look at the pilot. The pilots are always fun in these guys. They always have nice details. They're not probably as detailed as a 1/18, just because you have more room on a 1/18, but they've got plenty of details. I find that some of them, their little parts are so tiny that I end up just kind of taking them off like that. Stuff is so tiny. I end up taking them off, storing them in a bag because they just... they're just so easy to lose. As you can see, really, really cool details. So they always get a little, what they describe as hand painted. JoyToy makes Acid Rain, makes some really, really cool figures. I believe they also make, they are also responsible for one of my other favorite lines, which is Archcore. Archcore. Really, really nice details in there. You can see my hands are all cut up because I've been making my backlog of models. There's just some weapons and stuff. You see what I'm doing? Those tiny little things. So you got to just be careful. For now, I'm going to seal that up. Because what I'm noticing this will be my 11th or 12th JoyToy 1/25th mech, is that the little bits tend to get a little annoying. I just have to store them in a big box. So I like to get the thing set up as it is and just kind of go from there. So is this an old version? An old mech, actually, not a new one? That's why its hands are not jointed, or whatever you call it. I don't know. I don't know much about them. Like I said, I don't have a big history on the mechs. I just kind of buy them. It's so hard to say. Is there a date on here, maybe? So this is the God of War 2. What I have, I'll show you here. And the reason I bought this one is because of sometimes you've got to put a little heat, is what they're trying to say there. I like to put English. If you ever notice, some of these toys, when you have a hard rubber toy, you can heat it up. And you don't want to use, of course, really... The dryer is weird, especially if you're a kid. I've seen kids use it and it melts stuff. It's just so hot. Can burn them and stuff. I prefer to use just really hot water, almost boiling. It sounds kind of less safe, but it tends to work better for me. And the paints don't come off or anything. So limited stuff on there. So let's put the pilot aside. I think it's just cool. They always come with cool guns that have little parts that usually you can swap out. Look at that. It's got the bullet in there. That center point will probably sometimes come out. Get all these neat little things. I made a video once where I asked if JoyToy mechs were a modular system, and they kind of are. You can kind of swap the parts with each other, like something like that. Those holes there should be of a standard size. Somebody out there tell me what size those are. But you get these neat little parts where stuff comes out. You know, it's kind of like an action thing, but not. You could use a little, you know, like a what's a little action, kind of like a bubble of plastic. What's the word I'm looking for? You get little packs of them, and a couple of the JoyToys actually came with, you know, like a little explosion you could attach and make it look like the rocket was launching. You know, you can make your own, so that's cool. I mean, you just get tons of little parts. Oh, these go on the end, I guess. Well, that makes sense. I wonder if those are to be used for. Anyway, I'll figure all that out. You do tend to get a lot of little drones and stuff, so it's very cool. Don't get me wrong, but it can be a little bit much. That's weird. Usually the drone will have a little piece of plastic that you'll use to mount. Did I miss it? Maybe I missed it in here somewhere. I tend to go really fast and forget to look for stuff, but I miss it. Usually that's so strange. It is weird, but let me show you what I'm talking about here. And then let me grab my box. So what I have here, you can see why I'm not so concerned about parts. This is all JoyToy stuff. All of this, little shields, everything you'd want. So I'm in no worry if I, you know, get them mixed up, because they're kind of meant to be. So anyway, here's what I believe somebody said in a comment about this when I showed it on that these are not hot swappable hands, or they're not fully posable hands. In comparison, I was comparing it to this guy. This is one of the first or second ones I bought. This one on the right here. I want to say this was the God of War as well. What I was really wondering about is, this is the second one I bought, I think. This is the first one. It's still I got to put the pilot in and stuff. This is the sniper one, which was the first one. This. And for the very first one I bought, it has little, you can just see in there, you see the light is reflecting off of a nice little part that when you move the part, it goes clack, clack. What is that called? What is, in toys, I never figured out, what is that called? I probably know the term. When you use a clickety-clackety thing, it even has it in the feet here, so that as you pose the feet, it should help hold a pose, that you can push it and it holds that pose. Now over time those do get worn out a little bit, but this had them, I believe, on every segment. I think even on the arms and the interior of the arms. And so when I was going to buy this one, even though it was cheaper, this is one of my favorite ones. It's plain white one, just no big guns and stuff, just plain white. It looked like a combination of this one and this cool double-seater guy here, which I don't want to lean him too far because he's got all his guys in there and stuff. This is like a deluxe. It has little wheelies on the bottom. It has 2 seats. It has the tank. Here's the drone I'm talking about with the little plastic that's not coming with. I don't know why. So this should be, yeah, see, mount in the top. So it's not a 2-seater. It's a single seat. version of that. Somebody get me caught up on my dates and my JoyToy. If you have a link to some JoyToy history or a good source for that. So it looked like had a little light in here before. These manuals are okay. Even though they're in Mandarin or whatever, they're okay. I guess that can go there. Because the way they make it look, there is a center light. You see that light right in this area? This thing right here. And I'm thinking that that is... Geez, what is that? So you can see, usually you have a little way to open. Let's see. You got to be careful with some of these. Comes forward. Oh, this is nice. It has little pistons. That's different. See, this is back in the old ones were so simple. You just had a basic opening, right? I actually like this. I think they could clean it up, make it a little more detailed and stuff, but I like how solid that feels, right? You've got another first one here where it just comes forward and then this pops up. So just a simple little, it doesn't need to be that fancy. But with the cockpits and stuff, you get an excuse to put little details like that. That's actually really fun. There's a little grip there. I guess maybe some little, I'm not seeing any like little controls or whatever. I believe like even this one of the first ones I had. Yeah, see, it has little control stick. This one I believe does not. Right, so just plain, which again, I'm cool with that if it saves a little money or makes it a little easier. So what I was concerned about is in the arms, are they just tension or are they clackety? So they're just, it looks like they're just tension filled. Yeah, so what I mean is that you notice there's no clack, 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 clack. See on this old one, that's one of the first ones I bought, clack, 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 clack. So clack, clack, clack. So it will hold that position, right? It makes them so much more reliable just on the shelf and stuff. The center point, that big ball joint often gets pretty loose on a lot of these. On these it does pretty well. But you can see why I like this one so much. A lot of people say, oh, that looks like Titanfall. Well, guess what? Titanfall didn't invent that look. That came from other sources as well. You can even go far back as like Battletech, Mech Warrior, stuff like that. Battletech to see some pretty interesting, it's just bots in general. But this one only has what they call like a, what is that? Like a tension type of, it's a nice joint. It's a double joint so you can go up. But you see how much easier I can move that than with this. You actually have to put a little oomph into it. You see, and I think that's, I'm sure everybody knows this, that's probably a cost-saving thing. Now, where did his arm go? There it is. These can pop out. This is why I had that video about if they were kind of considered modular, and in a way they are. I wonder if that comes off. Okay, that comes off because I don't want to push on it. Let's see, get that. There we go. This should go in a little bit deeper too, so let's pull this off. Sometimes they'll come in actually disassembled. In sometimes in the manuals you'll see that they'll be actually disassembled until you put them together. So that's much better. So this here, no, that's again just tension. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not, see, like right there, that's just a joint that's held together with tension. Even the legs, which is what I couldn't tell in the shots that I was seeing, it's not clacky. But this is kind of cool that it seems to be able to go a little more further, kind of like more like a human leg instead of a backwards leg. See how far that one goes. It's hard when they're, that might be it. Yeah, so these are automatically supposed to look like a backwards facing leg. So I like the kind of human looking feet, you know, the leg that it goes to, like ours do. These will rotate like that and stuff. Usually they'll go out, so you can do some crazy fun poses and stuff. One of the advantages of the non-clickety-clackety leg is that it is a bit easier to just throw into a pose, but it doesn't hold the pose as well. That's a bit disappointing. They do have these hands, but as you can see, the difference, this is one of the first ones I bought. Every little finger, I believe, moves. Every little joint, I should say. So you got, my poor thumb, I beat it up from modeling, cutting, doing papers and stuff today. Look at that. So you get that with one of the first ones that I don't know how much I paid for that. I don't have to look. But this one is molded in place. Again, there is an advantage to that. Also, you can always do this stuff. Relatively easy. Pop it in there. Let's see if we can do this. So that's going to come out like that. Let's try this. Let's try to reverse it so it sits in there. It will not. Oh, oh. But what you could do is pull this joint out. I probably even have one. Either way. Oh, and this is what I was talking about. Effects parts. Why couldn't I think of that word? Let's have some of the effects parts from one of these guys. Anyway, you could pull that out, probably put that in there, and then you could mount the articulated hand. So, I mean, do you want to have to be able to do that? No, I think it would have been cooler to have an articulate. Oh my gosh, now it's stuck. By the way, this is another one of my favorite handy tools in the world. Yes, it's kind of a blunt tool. It's not very pretty, but you can see how much easier. So you'll leave teeth mark on stuff, but who cares? So I mean, but look at the difference. This hand is just so much more substantial. Each finger does its own thing. The thumb doesn't really rotate out, I don't think. Some of them it might. It's on a ball joint, but look, you can do that. You can do that. You point, because that tip should point. And you can do nothing like that. But they give you a pre-made one. Again, it just doesn't look as substantial. It's not as detailed. Again, it's a cost-saving thing, which I'm cool with. Except, I mean, these were never really expensive anyway. But it's a little bit unfortunate to see, because you'll often see. How did that go in there? You'll often see companies start to do that when they literally just want to save a little money. Get them out cheaper. Ugh, good God. Am I doing that in reverse? Either way, there you go. So you got some hand differences, because they're the same height. So let's look more at the cab here, the pilot's chair, whatever. This is always cool. I like the top entrance thing. That is so strange. What goes there? This? Oh, there's the little additional part. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there you go. That's what went there. Because I'll get comments on my videos that I forgot a part. So that's cool. That can go right there. Kind of fill in that gap. So that does look cooler. It's kind of like a... Also, what would be interesting is you could probably swap that out with something else from your box of parts. So that goes... So it's not crazy complicated. But it doesn't come really wide open. How far open can I go? I mean, look at the details up in there. So I can get my camera to focus. What is that stuff? Oh, there we go. We can see it. No, we can't. There's no back entrances. Oh, sorry, I'm not even noticing it's blurry. Some of these will have a back entrance as well, but it's just hard to tell on some of them. Like, you can see that little thing there. So that comes down. It doesn't flip out or flip reverse. See, on this guy, you have the two entrances there and there. I think you had a reverse one as well, but I couldn't tell because the hinge was so tight it felt like it was going to break. So I'm going to look up some other reviews on that. But let's get the pilot out and see how well he goes in. No swappable face, so again, cost saving. Every little bit of plastic saved is, plastic saved. There's got to be, I guess you could go in this way, but it needs to come up more. And I'm just afraid that's going to bust or something. Does that come off? Oh, wow. Okay. So here's the screen that's in there. It's a really cool screen. Again, with this little thing, you can customize that. You can put a little map or something, little data. So that pops out. It's all fine and good, but... So how do I get him up in here? Let's see. Let's get him in a nice little pilot's pose. Do we just slide him up in there? Let's just try that. I don't mind it being nice and tight in there. It's, it's like a tank. Tanks are super tight. There you go. That's not bad at all. Once you get it going, I need to put that piece back in there. Bloop, bloop, bloop. It needs his little guide. Oh my lord! Like that. Okay, sorry. I will blur this all the time. Let me know in the comments how aggravating it is. There's his head. I guess the advantage of that is, again, like a tank, you can pop out in case you're on fire or something like that. I like the double jointed look. I mean, the double size, larger canopy. Oh, it's, you know, it's really, so this is a remake of this one? This one's a remake of this one? Is that what I'm hearing? It is pretty much the same, or it looks a lot the same, except for the lack of, this gray is not as nice. I prefer this gunmetal look. This does just have a ball jointed gut. This has an actual crunch, so that's, oh wow, so it does have a nice little crunch. Does it return? Oh, it does. So it has some nice details there. You see these things moving. So it does have some difference there. So what they've done is they made a crunch so you can look down. On this guy, you can as well, but it's just a big ball, socket and ball joint. Ball and socket. What did they say? Socket and ball? So that's cool. Some nice details there. I mean, that's cool, I guess, but I'd much, see how much, look at that. So that's aggravating when I could have got, you know, these little things here are just fake. They're not connecting anything, just so you know. But I'm cool with that. But look at that. There's no moving at all unless I want it to move, right? This guy's like this. So maybe this is a bit more like a toy, a bit more to be played with, I guess, because you can move it around so easy. I still like the look. I like this kind of skinny look. I like these kind of feet. They're fat and wide, so they would spread out the weight a bit. I wouldn't mind if they're a little more solid, like these. Just to me, that feels a bit more realistic. But you know, whatever you can think you want to do with these guys, you can do. Because that's a double joint there. So you can, oh, you can only go that far back. So you can get to some pretty cool. Oh, look at that. That's nice. How far down can you go? Look at that. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's impressive. So that would mean he could then turn around and do a really nice crunch. Oh, he can do a really nice crunch. Look at that. Need him forward a little bit, so maybe you'd want to, you know, you could have this thing pop open and he could jump in. Of course, that could pop that way and that way. Oh, that is cool. That is cool. You might be able to go down even lower. I don't know. I'd have to look at the suggested poses on Amazon and stuff. It always have these little cool little parts. I mean, I have a million of these. I kind of like how they're, see, this should just pop apart. Maybe, oh, maybe not. I kind of like what they're going with, where they're creating parts that have less moving stuff. I'm not making an excuse for not having articulated hands, but if you have more of a toy type thing, you want them, all these little moving parts are great, but these are little moving parts that over time wear out. Not the CLICKITY stuff, that does wear out as well, but a lot slower. But these hands are great, but when you hold a gun with them, they tend to not hold the gun real tight because these will open. So this is kind of a nice option. The gun is cool. You could probably, let's straighten out his legs real quick. I do like how quickly I can get him into pose. I mean, again, I'm making excuses here, but still, fantastic looking for sure. This looks like a real capable Rubit. This can go in here, probably just pop in, which is kind of a nice thing to do because, like I said before, they do pop right out on JoyToy bots. You ask anybody, sometimes it's hard to get them to the point. Like, look here on my snipers, you have to have these little dots here to be helped to push. You have to push those dots into her arms. Get that focused right here into their arms so that she can actually hold this sniper rifle. You can see how loose these joints are getting. So there's a little give and take with all of these, really. Some of them, there's a couple of them that are almost perfect, but oh, so that moves a bit. That turned to kind of allow it to hold that, and then you should be able to just reach forward, turn him right side that way. There you go. You know, I gotta say, I'm not thrilled by the lack of articulation in the hands, but it is more of an action figure, so that's cool. Let's see if the effects parts will fit in there. That came from a different one. Look at that. That's fun. That's really fun. He can't see. It's not turning his head, but see, all you got to do is turn the sensor, and the sensor is what's seeing. Doesn't have to turn his whole head. That's his tiny head, basically. I mean, it's a robot. It's, you know, future stuff. So really, really, actually, the more I'm messing with it, the more I enjoy it. Because these guys, every time you move these, and you go clackety, 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 you feel like you're hurting them. That over time you're just wearing down that joint. This feels like an action figure that'll last you a lot longer because the joints are meant to be moved freely. So the less it takes to move them, the longer they might last. I don't know, but I would like to see articulated hands. Doesn't bother me because I probably have some extra hands just sitting in here, you know, but you got all these cool weapons and stuff. This is from the other one. You could throw that on there, you know. So that's actually really, really cool. Little smoke stack thingies, smoke screen shooter thingies. I don't know why this, somebody tell me if you've got this. I don't know why that doesn't go up higher. I guess because of this. It seems like it's a shame, but then again, maybe it's meant to get in from the, from the top or from bent down. A lot of them will have these little handholds like this. You can grab and swing into, like, you know, there's a reason that's there. Titanfall, which was a lot of fun. The designs will often have little grabby holds. So like I said, it reminded me of a combination of that one with this one. And this one was more, but I don't think much more. And it has clackety clackety parts. What is a term for that? Somebody let me know. It has this awesome shield. This is just like a deluxe one, but it really wasn't a deluxe price. You see it has to hold the gun kind of weird. And you see how loose it is? Because the hands are physically holding it. You know? With this, you don't get that because the hands are molded. So they're actually got a little bit of tension to them. So you could hold stuff a little bit better. So that's kind of fun. I would say that you could actually use these pre-made hands on one that you want to just put in a position like that. So I mean, that's not going anywhere. Whereas these guns, I'm always worried about, you know, the gun falling off. Unless they have a little holder on there, you know. So really, really cool. I couple bits I'd like to quibble with. This gray's nice. I wish it was washed a little heavier. They do have a little, they always apply these little bits of dry brushing, you can see, which are really nice. What they describe as hand painted on the box. I think it's on the box. If not, it's on the description. A lot of there's not as many armor bit holes here, like there on his arm. This guy has 2 or 3 down below on his legs. So I'm not seeing as many chances to plug in all my additional little parts. I'm betting this all comes off though, and those pegs you could use for something else. There are the pegs here, which you can, you know, all of them come with little pegs here. These, of course, you can pull the thing off. What does that say? Oh, I've got it upside down, do I? God of War. That is upside down. They're both upside down. Do I have them on reverse? I probably put them in reverse. But anyway, I like that. Looks good. So you got a little gun rack there. So maybe you could throw something. See how this has a gun up top? You could throw something on that. That's pretty cool. As a matter of fact, I believe, let me take him out. I believe you can just snap this part out. Yep. Let's see if I can do it. So see how you can just, this is what I'm talking about. They're almost swappable. Oh, almost. Will that fit? You know, no, but you could put, I have a million little extra mount parts. You could put that there. Like something like that. You know, I have a million of those type things, little connectors. So you could probably mount that there. So that's cool. I like that it's a solo version of that 2-seater. Somebody let me know more about these if you can. You know, what am I missing here? What's the history? Is this, like I said, is this yeah, this is the God of War, so this is the 2. So this is a upgraded version of that. The joints are not an upgrade for sure. If this one had these joints, I'd be 100 times happier. But I do enjoy the ability to pop those in, like I said, like an action figure. It's a bit more, you could play with this a bit more, and you're not going cut and having to be so careful. Some of them are so tight, I have to grab both hands and pop. And that I don't appreciate. You know, that will wear out over time. So, you know, again, making an excuse, but it does look fantastic. Look at that. That's really fun. I don't even put mine in cool poses. I like them just standing there looking cool. But I think this is cool. I think it's definitely an improvement. This new version here of a top hatch or whatever. So anyway, there you go. I thought you guys would like a little, not a quick look, but maybe a thorough look at it. I think it looks pretty cool. So not bad. Glad I picked it up for 60 bucks. I think they're still on Amazon. I might pick up a few of the ones that I don't have. I really want to get some of the really old ones, the very first JoyToy 125ths. If anybody knows where I can get those, let me know. But fantastic, huh? Not bad. Have a good one, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.